puts me a little better in the light.
Wow, that's better. Thanks, John.
Is that any better?
Zero on, Kathy.
Thank you. John, the light behind you makes your face totally in shadow, so we can see your outline.
Let me see if I can fix that at all.
Okay. While you're doing that, this is a public meeting of the Hamilton County Public Defender Commission. It's Friday, February the 14th at 3 p.m. Due notice of this meeting was given publicly in the court index, and the meeting is being streamed on the YouTube platform to the public. The meeting is being recorded. I now call the meeting to order. Let's take a roll call of first the commissioners present and then the staff members and our guest. This is Kathy Brinkman, the chair of the commission. Merlin
Shiverdecker, present in Ray Fowler's office.
John.
John Delaney, present.
Victor
Walton, present.
Gabriel
Fletcher, present.
and our deputy Kathy Ancona.
Present. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Kathy.
Jack
Great.
Herbert,
Present.
our guest Mark Stevens, and David Harvey, our IT specialist, is handling the technical side of the meeting.
Can we recognize Ms. Zeverink and me?
Vivian, well, yeah, well, we should recognize Vivian and you. Let's do Vivian first, and then we'll do Vivian
Present.
Zeverink.
Yes, ma'am, present.
Sorry, Vivian.
That's okay.
And the public defender.
Ray Fowler is present.
I overlooked that. My gallery view is askew. So let's say first that the materials that will be discussed today were previously supplied to the members of the commission and staff in advance of the meeting. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the board meeting of November 29th, 2021. Do I hear a motion for approval of those minutes?
I'll move.
I'll second it.
John, second. Any discussion, corrections, additions? There being none, all others in favor, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Unanimously approved. The second item on the agenda, reports. Let's hear first about the staffing update and vacancy report.
Our first report are the staffing changes and additions since our last meeting, our last board meeting of November 29th, 2021. Quite a lot of activity as usual. We had 5 new hires during that time frame. We've also had 7 promotions, 4 resignations, with 1 termination, 1 retirement, and this is an opportunity for me to indicate that I'm working on my succession plan. My position has been posted to the county's website, so I'm beginning to work through that process with Kathy and Ray, and those interested candidates, and I will certainly work with the interview process and also onboard the successful candidate once we get to that point in the process.
Jack, can we afford the 6 people it will take to hire to replace you? Not that anybody could replace you.
I'm very flattered, but I think there's some good candidates out there. There really are.
Okay, we're limited to 1, huh?
And finally, that washes out to 19 vacancies on our organizational chart at this time. And a number of those vacancies are a result of our new positions that have been awarded in the 2022 approved budget. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in this meeting, but we were very successful in the approved positions for this year's budget. So that represents quite a few of these vacancies, particularly the municipal attorneys that are vacant, the executive division attorney and the 2 juvenile attorney positions. Those are a result of the new budget.
Great. Ray, can you tell us a little bit about the felony hires, the 2 felony hires?
The 2 felonies were promotions, I think we're talking about, aren't we, Kathy?
We
Uh,
had hired 2 people from the
Oh,
outside
those were, okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
from different states.
Yeah.
One was with the DPA, and the other one was with the Marion County Public Defender's Office.
Okay,
They got their PPA licenses and started one at the end of last year and one at the beginning of this year. And
Okay.
also in that batch, there was a promotion from our juvenile division to felony, Andrew Hakala Finch.
Who did you hire from DPA?
Joshua Hitch.
Oh, what office? Do you know what office he came from, Kathy?
I want to say Maysville.
Oh, great.
great.
I know. I have heard Maysville is in very bad shape, that they have one attorney, the directing attorney, running the whole office.
Wow.
There's no one else left in the office.
So we got 2 experienced people. That's good.
Great.
Good. Any other questions about the staffing report?
Then we'll move on to our assigned council activity, the second report. This report focuses on the year-end activity for assigned council, which is one of the largest components of our budget. Through the end of the fiscal year 2021, we spent $7.5 million in assigned council costs. And then when you compare that to the prior fiscal year of 2020, it's an increase of almost $2 million. And some of the factors that are attributed to that increase, obviously, is the revised assigned council hourly rate from $60 to $75 an hour, which was effective March 1st of 2021. And basically ramping back up in 2021 after COVID, a lot of the jury trials started back up, even though we've been suspended again, on hold with those. But that increase of 1.9 billion primarily due to coming out of in the second year of the pandemic, getting things back up and running. So
And that's 100% reimbursed.
100% reimbursed, and actually that 7.5 that we spent is under our budget. Our original budget for 2021 was 8.6 million, so we still were able to have a savings of about 1 million in assigned council, even giving that level of expenditure. So we were certainly able to cover those expenses.
Questions about the assigned council caseload and payments? Ray, is there anything new to report from the Ohio Public Defender about the assigned council question?
No, we're at the statewide rate, $75 an hour, which I think other people are catching up to. We did have some indication, Jack can give you probably more details, that we might not get 100% going forward. It just depends on how much the dollars that are allocated by the state for reimbursement, because they didn't limit us, let's say, to 3% like they normally would suggest. They wanted officers across the state to increase their expenditures for hourly rates for private attorneys and for increasing staffs where it was needed. That was one of Tim Young's goals, I think.
So the concern that comes up is that many counties now are ramping up their salaries, increasing their staff complements because of this reimbursement. So Tim Young had indicated that he still has to see how far that 100% will go once all the counties are increasing their resources, increasing their budgets. So we'll probably know more after the first quarter of the year if it'll stay, if the rate will stay at 100%. So.
When does the budget from the General Assembly come up again, the allocation for our purposes?
I think that's July 1st. They're on a different calendar than we are, and we should hear more probably at mid-year. We'll get more information on that.
Okay. Any questions from the other commissioners? All right. Next category.
Next report is our staff attorney assigned cases and clients, that report. And as you can see, we've been pretty steady in the cases and clients assigned when compared this year to last year. Really right on target with the same number of clients, pretty much 23,000 to 22,000 in 2021. So it's been pretty steady. We had quite a few vacancies during the 2021, and of course that carried over from the previous year as well. So as we'll talk about in our budget, with the pay parity we received this year, hopefully we can minimize the turnover and vacancies, and our staff divisions will be taking on more cases as we fill our positions and get to full complement.
Questions about staff attorney assigned cases and clients. So the caseload is, how does that compare with the recommended caseloads?
I think it's pretty well on target. I think our felony division has remained pretty constant from year to year. And again, it might be a little bit down on the normal caseload. However, again, filling positions is a factor, getting those vacancies filled. But overall, I think those caseload numbers are pretty well in line with the ABA standards.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. When we have full complement, then the caseload will decline a bit. Okay. All right. And Fresh Start, which had been suspended for a long time.
Right. Our updated numbers for Fresh Start, we started back up after the pause. We started back up in September of 2021 and went through January 5th of this year, and then we had another pause. And during that short time frame, there were 1,292 cases that were eligible and expunged. And we plan on starting the program back up again this Wednesday, the 16th. So we'll get it back up and running. And you can see program to date now, we are up to, since the expungement clinic started, we're up to 15,325 on the eligible cases that have been expunged. So that's quite a bit of activity.
Yeah, that's
for the
great.
program.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Have you found that requiring appointments rather than walk-in has had an impact on how many we can handle, or the quality of the speed and quality of the work we can do?
Oh, we definitely think this is working well. Even with COVID tapering off, people aren't on top of each other. People call in on the morning of the clinic. They get their afternoon appointment. And it's 5 people every 20 minutes, or we scheduled in. We were handling 4 every 20 minutes, but we think we can do 5. And we asked them not to bring anybody with them other than if they need somebody to help them get into the office. The process has moved pretty well, and I think it's 40 a clinic it was about 40 a clinic we were handling. So 80 a month, that'll be almost 1,000 people a year we should be able to help.
Mm-hmm. And those who are over the income limit on the calculation, they're going to OJPC or wherever we refer them.
We suggest that that's a possibility. Sure.
Ray, does it feel like a lot of people come in and end up being not eligible because of the income limits?
I don't think
is
so.
that uncommon? Is that not very frequent?
No, it's there. The offense of the conviction offense that drives away more people than income. We don't have that many people who don't qualify for our service who come in.
Great.
And they've likely been our clients in the past and they've qualified, so they still qualify, huh?
Some, but some haven't, and some come in with fairly extensive records, and we're able to help with a lot of things. And we always offer, even if we can't get what they want sealed, to get other things sealed. And we also go to great lengths to get dismissed cases sealed. So it cuts a lot of stuff off people's records. And through our technology, we've gotten electronic signatures, which really expedites the process. They only have to sign once, and some people might have 10, 12 filings that we take care of for them. with one signature.
Wow, that's great. You
The
do
one
it-
other thing that we are doing is when they call for the appointment in the morning, we actually still have permission from the state through the end of this year to do the financial qualifying over the phone.
Good.
So if someone doesn't qualify, we actually stop them from making the trip down. And then we can give that slot to someone else that would qualify.
Well, that's great. It's nice that if they don't qualify, they know that before they schlep downtown and come into the office.
And is that end of calendar year 2022? That's good for?
Yes, but this is the second year that they've done this, so I don't know if they'll make us go back to in-person signatures, but we can still get the information over
Yeah.
the phone, give them an opinion, and then have them actually sign the documents when they came down.
Great.
Hey, Kathy, just out of curiosity, do you know what the income cutoff is?
Jack probably has this on his desktop.
Oh, don't look.
If
It's
you're a
not-
single
Sure.
person with no dependents, I
Is
will
there-
know by the end of the meeting.
No, it's
Mr. Delaney.
We can send that chart out to you. It comes out.
no,
from the
no,
PDF.
it's okay. Really. I was just a little curious. That's all. Don't do it.
Yeah, because there's multiple factors that go into the.
Multiple factors, right? It's U.S. Labor Department indigency guidelines.
Right. And it matches what we use for our clients.
Correct.
The expungement client. Yeah, okay. Sounds good. Any other questions about that? All right, the budget. Is that the next?
All right, the next item is our approved budget. And just to follow up, the recommended budget that we shared with you back at our last meeting was actually approved for every line item. At their meeting of December 16th, the Board of County Commissioners approved our 2022 budget in the amount of $24.7 million, which represents an overall 3% increase from 2021 of $24.1 million. And as far as the details, every one of the positions that we requested, those positions were all approved. The 5 municipal division attorneys, 2 juvenile adolescent defense team attorneys, the 1 attorney for our executive division covering communications and the policy specialist, and then the major funding for our pay parity, which overall is about 5% of our salary budget, was approved. And then finally, the office space addition over at Court Street for our Guardian division to provide offices for our Guardian staff. Those are all approved. And so that was good news. A number of the vacancies you can see on our staffing report reflect some of those positions that we're still going to be posting their jobs and beginning interviews in the first quarter to fill those positions. On the salary adjustments, we've already implemented in pay period 2 salary adjustments for staff for each division. And we took into consideration the updated salaries for the county prosecutor, as well as some of the larger offices in the state of Ohio as far as public defender salaries for the various divisions. So those increases and adjustments were implemented the paycheck of January 26th. So it was a good process to get staff up to pay parity for going into 2022. And hopefully, again, as we've talked about, we can retain our staff complements and also attract good candidates for these open positions.
And you have on there a reference to the Children's Services Levy for GAL services. And
Right. For the reimbursement rate, the reimbursement rate falls below 100% for the office. We certainly would be working with JFS to reimburse that balance, that difference from the Children's Services Levy. That possibility is still out there. And I think Ray's going to talk about later in the meeting, the GAL division's potential reassignment of their operations to an independent agency. So we'll cover that a little bit later.
great. And that's the first time that money became available in quite a while, isn't it?
Right. Last year it was available. You're correct.
Good. And as far as GAL is concerned now, is it for non-attorney type staff? Sometimes that doesn't get reimbursed.
Right now, they 100% of their operation expenses do get reimbursed. But after our meeting with Tim Young and discussions about the conflicts involved, we're going to be meeting with county administration to talk about that reassigning of GAL, which would need to happen.
Yeah.
Well, let's back up for a minute. On that GAL funding, because they're part of the public defender office, all of their operations are funded at 100%. Let's say it dropped down to 97% this year. Hamilton County would cover the other 3%, but that children's services levy would cover the 3% for the GAL division.
Got it.
So there's extra money. So they should be covered 100% regardless of what the rest of us are, so long as they're part of our office.
Yeah. I knew there was a difference between the rest of the office and GAL. That's the only division that's eligible for that levy money, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. And next is good news. Number 4,
Yes,
the Commission Grant Award.
We wanted to share with the commission that Angela Chang, again, our director of the juvenile division, was successful in securing a second grant. This is the amount of $392,000 from the federal Ohio Justice and Policy Department federal program. And again, the theme of that grant is enhancing juvenile indigent defense. And that award is on the books right now. The county's set up a grant account for that funding, and Angela's in the process of setting up service contracts to implement the goals and project opportunities for that grant. So another successful grant. She's getting very good at applying for these federal grants.
He's brought in quite a bit of money in grants.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first one was $425,000, and we
That's amazing.
finalized that at the end of the year and spent those dollars and filed the final report. So it was a very successful program.
Yeah, it's almost $1 million in grants. Angela certainly has paid for herself.
Right.
Right.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Is it's almost all contract services?
Yes. Yeah. No staff involved. All
Yeah.
service contracts.
I don't want to forget that Judge Allie Hathaway did a
Yes.
lot of work on the first grant, not to take anything away from Angela Chang, but
Good point, Kathy. Good point.
That is a good point. Yeah, I mean, she set the bar for when Angela took over. Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely.
Well, great. Okay. Any questions up to this point? All right, then we'll go to the public defender for reporting comments on a number of items, right?
All right, the first thing we have listed is the news about our guardian ad litem division. This is not confidential. This has been discussed publicly. We've been talking about spinning that division off for quite a while. Some of our criminal attorneys have pointed out potential conflicts. Kim Helfrich has pointed out potential conflicts. That when I came here in 2012, the division was already here. And it took me, I guess, a while to worry about a lot of other things and then look at what GAL was doing. And I guess recently, this past year, we've got a much more aggressive investigator who seems to find things beneficial to the GAL clients that can be to the detriment of the criminal clients. And that's where we've decided that we need to part ways. None of this has been hidden. Tim Young has known this all along. I talked to him last month. We're the only county in Ohio that has a GAL division under the public defender's office. So what I did was reached out on January 25th with a lengthy email to Jeff Aludo, the county administrator, telling him, outlining some things we needed to do. Number one was to separate the guardian ad litem division, which is 33 full-time employees from the public defender's office, and now find a place for its relocation. Tim Young said that they reimburse 100% or whatever our office is because it's under the auspices of the public defender office. If they're separate from us, they will reimburse the GAL attorney's expenditures, but not the non-attorney GAL expenditures. We've reached out to, like I said, to Jeff Aludo, the county administrator. He said he wanted to think about this and get back to me. We've talked about having a meeting I guess, through the county prosecutor's office, because the civil attorneys in that office would represent us as county employees. And my most recent communication from Jeff was last Friday afternoon about 1 o'clock. He said, Ray, I don't want to lose track of this. Per our discussion, are you okay if I coordinate a meeting with respective teams, the prosecutor's office, as to the recommended organization, housing structure, moving forward, funding implications and timing? And I said, yes, we are. That's the whole idea, is to sit down and talk about this. There are a lot of people involved. Tim Young himself even said probably the best idea would be if they become an agency under the county commissioners, because we have people here 25 years as county employees. We certainly don't want to throw them out in the cold, but we're not sure exactly where it's going to go. So our next step, I think, is waiting for Jeff Aluda to move.
And when you say that, yeah, the civil division will advise on organizational matters, shifting to remain in the pension plan and all that stuff, right? And any documents that need to be executed.
Right. Our public defender office is a statutory creature, which the commission, it sets up the commission as being 3 county commissioner appointments and 2 judicial appointments. I don't know if something like that needs to be done, or if the county commissioners could just run this office on their own. That's what we need, some advice from the prosecutors.
Sure.
But we have to be careful about transferring that, the finances, how that would be done. If some entity has to be created, I don't know the answers to those questions.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray, I mean, if it gets bumped out of the public defender's office, it's going to cost the county some money that is not costing them now, because they're not going to get 100% reimbursement. So I'm just kind of curious, because of that, because it's going to now cost the county some more money, who ultimately makes this decision? Who ultimately, I mean, can you say it's gone? Can Tim say it's gone? Who makes the decision whether or not this actually happens?
Well, that's why we want to have that meeting and get an opinion from the prosecutors and see what the county commissioners want to do. But John, there probably would be children's services levy money that would offset the lesser reimbursement from the state public defender office.
Would it ultimately be the commissioner's decision as to if this happens or not?
Honestly, I don't know. I think so, but I don't know.
Okay.
If it's, again, they're 33 full-time employees. If we say we don't think they fit here anymore, where do they go? Since they are county employees, I would think it would be the county commissioner's call.
Yeah, and we can look at other counties to see what their organizational setup is. And if it doesn't require legislation through the General Assembly, but there's already something in, the code that allows it to be set up that way, that would be much simpler. Yeah.
I mean, I was just curious as to who's okay we need to make this happen. Who has to say, and if one of those parties who we need to say it's okay says, nope, it's going to stay right where it is, does it then stay right where it is?
Well,
if the county commissioners say, nope, we don't want to move it.
Well, we're not there yet.
Okay.
So
John, that would be a question we'd ask the county prosecutor for an opinion on.
Okay.
Okay. Good. I'm glad that we're very actively moving forward on exploring how that could be accomplished. Other questions on that from the commissioners? All right. What about jail population?
We sent those out with the handout, the population figures since our last meeting in November. The only change is I have today's figures. It's 1,118 people in the Justice Center right now. Those have been fairly constant for the last 3 months.
And they're still over the consent decree as to how many?
I believe so. I heard some talk they were going to start releasing people, but I haven't. The sheriff was going to, but I haven't seen that happen yet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Questions about the jail population reports? Diversity and Inclusion Committee?
Kathy's going to take these next two.
So that we have engaged a lot more staff. I think once the holidays and COVID settled down a little bit, we've been really intentional about planning what we want to do for 2022. The two biggest priorities right now are service and training. Our men's group has set up volunteer opportunities with the Free Store. And our women's group is going to partner with Block Ministries with their Redeemed Home and a Girls Wanted program that specifically support the needs of women. On the training and education front, we were finally able, once they reopened, to get scheduled for a tour this Thursday at the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. I think this is going to be interesting, especially because they have a special exhibit on Macon Bowling Allen, who was the first African-American attorney ever in the United States. So that is there through March the 17th. So I was super excited that we were able to get in. That is one of our monthly events, so to speak. We're still looking for something for March. April, we're going to have two different events. The office, again, I think we got 2 tables at the Black Scholarship and Awards Banquet. And then we are going to bring in Twyla Carter, who is the National Director of Policy at the Bail Project. She had just done a fabulous presentation for NAPD on incorporating race and culture into our criminal cases. So we're hoping that that is going to get scheduled at the end of April. And then she is a member of the committee. We're proud. Sammy Silverstein just coached UC's Black Law Student Association to a win at regionals, Midwestern regionals, and they are going on to finals. So
Is it
very exciting.
Trial or
Mock
appellate?
trial.
Mock trial. Yeah. Okay. Good. Before you talk about website, Ray, it's long been a concern of ours that our staff, especially our attorneys and our management, should be more diverse. In addition to what's going on within the staff, can you talk a little bit about identification, recruitment, vetting, hiring, attracting a more diverse staff?
The one thing I forgot to mention about the Balsa mock trial, that was actually in person in St. Louis, and it was also a recruiting event. And Sammy got to meet other chapters from other law schools that she thinks have like much more robust clubs than maybe the UC currently also. So she definitely forged some connections, got a lot of resumes and interest in our office there. That was kind of a last minute coaching assignment, so to speak, but it turned into a really good opportunity.
Right. Kathy, you asked me about that. The BLAC scholarship banquet hasn't happened for 2 years because of COVID, but ever since the first year I was here, we've purchased at least 2 tables. That's what we've done again, so that we show support for the organization and so that we can recruit people. We know we're not finding enough people there. That's why we went to the Equal Justice Works recruitment for attorneys. We're looking nationwide for attorneys. And it's a difficult battle we fight, but if somebody has more ideas, we're happy to look at them. But just like Kathy said, I helped coach help get the mock trial team ready. There were 5 of us that spent a long evening getting them ready for their trial. We're very supportive of those kind of endeavors. And like Sammy went out to St. Louis for this when the 2 weeks ago when we had the freeze everywhere, and she had help. Damon is going to work for us. He sat at the booth with her and really talked up our office as a public defender office, a good place for people to come. Those are the types of things we've been working on.
Can you talk about the internships, the summer internships that provide a pipeline to ultimate employment upon graduation admission?
Sammy talked about, I think she offered a couple people some internships this summer where we've got separate funding for that if they couldn't otherwise make it. But Sammy's been in charge of that because she's got most of the connections and she has connections with people who to encourage them to come in.
Yeah. Do we know how many we will have this coming summer?
I think we could have up to 4 if I'm not mistaken.
Kath, is that about right?
I want to say it is going to be more. She is like right in the middle of interviewing. I think she made a couple of offers, but I think we should know more definitely by the end of this month.
But I mean, when 4, I'm talking about the minority candidates, the African American candidates who were specifically trying to recruit. If they might not have funding otherwise, because that's a problem we've seen in the past.
Right. I mean, we have supported through the Friends to the Indigent recruitment of dollars. We have supported stipends for law students who will come during the summer and can't otherwise afford it. So that should provide us with maybe up to 6 sometime between what we do on our own. People come on their own dollar, and people that need support. Maybe it would be a good idea in the future if you put on the agenda just a report from Sammy about what's going on in recruiting, so that it's one of our priorities. I think that would be good. Kathy, as part of your DEIC, is there going to be a mentoring program for our employees of color to support their advancement within the organization into leadership and management?
That is something that we have talked about, pairing individual attorneys, and it's definitely something that we would like to do and we think is very important to the office.
Okay. Yeah, if you could keep us informed.
Well,
in the meeting
I can add something to that. NAPD is offering a course right now. I think it's 6 weeks that 12 of us are taking in leadership about effective coaching for the leaders of the office to work with the division directors and the team leaders to support everybody along the way, to coach them, to train them so that they are better attorneys representing clients the way we want them to, but give them the coaching that they need to succeed in the office. And this is, we're trying to adopt this office-wide. Kathy and I have been to any number of NAPD training programs over the years. We've been to Frankfort, Kentucky a couple of times. We've been up to Valparaiso, Indiana. We've seen some on remotely, but this is being run by Ed, help me out, Kathy.
It's Ed Monahan, Ernie
Right.
Lewis, and
Ernie
Hillary
Lewis.
Kotoshner.
No, Ernie Lewis. Yeah. Okay.
We just started this last week. But I think it's 12 from our office are signed up for this.
And you're doing it remotely?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there a special component for, coaching for diversity advancement and increase?
They haven't talked about that yet, but it's something we would certainly ask for help with.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, I'd like to hear about that, during the meetings as a regular report to know where we are. I mean, it's
Okay.
great. I like the effort that's going on internally. Have you advertised the new position for attorney for the executive staff, who will be a communications, community outreach kind of person?
We have not. I need to finish writing the description,
Mhm.
and we will get it posted ASAP.
Okay. And will that be not only communications, but listening tours and whatever else you need to do in the community, handling press inquiries, the whole thing?
Yes, I envision it kind of being a hybrid, like what Julie Wilson did for the prosecutor's office before she retired. And then there's a new person in that position managing not only internal policy, our social media, community relations.
And helping to get our staff out into the community too, as
Yes.
you're doing some of that yourself. Okay. Any other questions on this section? And I'll take commission items next. Is there anything else the commission, members of the commission wants to discuss before we get to setting the next meeting date and do executive session? Anything that we haven't covered in the reports or questions that have been raised so far?
I think for me.
Okay. All right. So our next meeting is February, so we're talking
May,
May.
right, the 30th is the holiday. So if you're gonna look at it Monday, the 30th is Memorial Day.
So we better do the 23rd, huh?
Well, whatever you want, just who's ever available.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
Anything is really, I mean, this far out, I can make anything work. So
Okay. Anybody have any problem with the 23rd, Monday, the 23rd?
the 23rd of May.
Uh-huh.
No, sounds good to me.
That works.
Okay. No objection.
That should
being
work.
heard. Understanding that things change, we'll set it for May 23rd, 2022, 3 o'clock. Okay. The next item on the agenda is an executive session for matters pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22, capital G1. And let's coordinate this with Dave Harvey, our IT person. And Ray, would you read into the record what's necessary, and we'll take the action required to go into executive session.
Yes, we need a motion pursuant to section 121.22, capital G1 of the Ohio Revised Code, that the members of this public body may hold an executive session only after a majority of the quorum of the public body determines by roll call vote for the sole purpose of consideration any of the following matters under section G1 to consider: appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee. So we need someone to make that motion.
I'll make said motion.
John
I'll
Delaney
second.
moved. Victor second. Any
We need a roll call vote. You want me
Yeah.
to take the roll? Ms.
Any
Brinkman?
discussion on the motion before we call the roll? All right, all those in favor? Kathy Brinkman, Commissioner, aye.
John Delaney, Commissioner, aye.
Gabriel Fletcher, Commissioner, aye.
Merlin Shiverdecker, aye.
Victor Walton, Commissioner, aye.
The commissioners have unanimously voted to go into executive session pursuant to the rule. So for the public, we will now stop the public stream as far as the executive session is concerned. And Mark, if you'll stay available, and we'll call upon you as needed. Ray, it'll just be the commissioners at this time. We'll start with just the commissioners. If we need anybody else, I'll make a call and we'll let you know.
All right, so that the record is correct, the recording that we take of this meeting so that Vivian can type the minutes, we'll turn this off as I walk out, and Merlin can sit here at my desk and I'll be next door in Ms. Everink's office.
Okay. So Dave, if you will limit it at this point just to the 5 commissioners.
And it's 3:44 p.m. right now.
Okay.
Need paper, pen?
All right. So we're still showing,
I thought you would move into another room because I want to make sure I don't get lost completely.
yeah, right. There we go. All right, everybody, commissioners, join the breakout room, please.
Merlin, do you know how to do that?
No,
You want me to, do I have permission to go help Merlin move into the breakout from the executive? Tell them not to say anything yet, Merlin, and that I'm coming in, okay?
okay. Does everybody hear that?
COVID-19 vaccinations are now available at the main terminal of level 3. The vaccination site is located.
Should I
Mark?
call Raymond back into his room?
Yes, Ray can come back. Hey, Mark, thank you for standing by.
Thank you.
And we thank you for your service in the report, and we don't need you to come. We didn't need you to come into the session. Appreciate your standing by. All right, we had Vivian, we're missing Ray. He has to come back in the office because Merlin threw him out, so. There we go. Make sure we got everybody. Merlin.
Ray is asking me if he is going into executive session.
He is not. He should come back into the office, his office.
Kathy Brinkman said you are not. You should go back into your office.
Can you see me?
We can see us.
Oh, okay.
And Dave, we are recording, so we are back streaming live. This is Kathy Brinkman, the commission chair. The commissioners are all present, as are the staff, as announced at the beginning of the meeting, including the public defender, deputy Vivian Zebrink, maybe Jack Herbert still there. I think Jack may not be back. By a roll call vote, the commissioners voted to come out of executive session and back into the meeting itself. And unless there is further business from either the staff or the commissioners, I'll call for it now. We would be ready to adjourn. Anything from the staff?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. No, nothing that I have.
All right. Anything from the commissioners?
Yep.
All
Thank
right.
you.
May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Victor?
I'll second it.
Second by John Delaney. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? No. The meeting is adjourned. Thank
Can
you
we
all.
let,
Thank you,
can we
everyone.
let the record reflect it's 4:30 p.m. right now?
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Dave, for your IT, and thank you, Mark, for standing by.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, thank you.